Hey everyone, Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Barricade HD Overland Rack fitting 2019 and newer Silverado and Sierra 1500s with the 5'8" short bed or 6.5" standard bed length. Whether you're heading to a remote campsite or out to the job site, you can add some cool style and a lot of extra carrying capacity with this HD Overland bed rack from Barricade. This is a cool modular rack that offers a lot of flexibility and good looks for a great price. Maybe you're after a platform for a bed tent, or you need somewhere to mount your ladders and tools, or you just need something to mount some recovery gear. Any way you slice it, the Barricade HD Overland Rack that we've got here has what you're after. This is again a modular rack, so you have the flexibility to mount pretty much anything you want to it, pretty much however you can get it on there. Within reason, of course. Now you can mount jerry cans to the side for extra fuel, you can put on shovels or other recovery gear, you can pop some ladders on and some other tools to take them to the job site, or pretty much whatever you can think of. The possibilities are nearly endless. And it's gonna retain the full use of your actual bed space too, so while you're giving up some vertical height, you still get full access to your bed. Not only that, but it looks cool too. With a very industrial type of aesthetic, I think it adds some attitude to your bed space and to your truck overall. It's one of those rare times when form and function kind of go hand in hand. And again, I think it's worth going back to the fact that this is again a modular rack. So as you can see here, you've got these wide oval openings all the way through the side rails on this one and some of the other pieces. Now, I don't have the entire rack up here on the table with me because frankly, it's not gonna fit, and even if it did, you guys wouldn't be able to see it too well. But you can see it here in the cuts to our truck with it installed. And one of the cool things about it again is that you can mount stuff pretty much wherever you want. So if you've got a couple of small things, you've got the flexibility maybe to even do it within these same openings. Or if you've got some larger stuff, you've got plenty of openings all the way down the rail to be able to mount whatever you want. So really, you can get creative here and put whatever you want on this. Again, you're not gonna wanna load it up too terribly much. You gotta watch your payload rating, of course, and you don't wanna have too much hanging out over the back. Plus, this is but a rack. It's not gonna be part of the frame of the truck, but it is pretty darn strong, and it does live up to the HD name. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Constructed from heavy-duty steel, again, this is gonna live up to the HD name. And like their bumpers, Barricade also finishes that steel here with a two-stage coating. First an epoxy pre-coating or E-coat, and then that is topped off with a textured black powder coat finish, which is what you see before you. Now, that coating is also UV resistant, it's not gonna fade, and it's about a 1/2 millimeter thicker than most other coatings on the market. So it's gonna stand up to the elements and provide you with solid protection from bumps and bruises, both in daily life and when you're out having fun on the trail. Plus, that finish matches the finish on Barricade's bumpers. So if you're shopping for those already, or you've got them on your truck to begin with, you're gonna have a nice cohesive look to your build. This also comes backed up with a 3-year limited warranty against manufacturing or material issues, so it's nice to have that additional peace of mind as well. Pricing comes in at about $750, and that makes it one of the most affordable bed racks on the market. So if you want that flexibility and the solid construction, this is absolutely a great choice that is not gonna blow out your entire budget. Installation is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the whole job should take you around 2 hours to complete. Now, as I mentioned already, what I've got up here is not the entirety of the rack. So that means that assembly is gonna be required, and that's where most of that difficulty and time are gonna go towards. It's gonna be assembling this thing. Once you have it together though, it is just gonna bolt right onto your truck with no other modifications needed. So all that said, let's head on out to the shop. We'll show you how to put this together and get it installed on your truck.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, a 13mm wrench, a T40 torque socket, and a 13mm socket. What's up guys? Today we're installing a bed rack on our Silverado, so let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is install our adhesive pads onto our brackets. That way they're not gonna scratch up the side of the bed or any of your paint. So we'll start with our uprights here. You're just gonna find the foam pad that matches up. And you'll peel off the backing, line it up, lay it down. And we also have a solid one that's gonna go back here. So peel the backing off that. And line it up and stick it down. And next we'll tackle this one. Find the pad that matches up. Peel that backing off, line it up. Stick it down. And then we also have one for this inside edge here. Peel that backing off and line it up, stick it down. And then you can do that same thing for the other one of these and 3 of these. So now we can assemble our uprights with our crossbars. We've got our Torx bolts with lock washers and flat washers, and then we have a flange nut that's going to be going on the other side. Now we do have 2 different uprights, so you want to make sure that you have the opposite ones that you attach to a single crossbar. Now we have both of the tabs on this pointed this way, which is what we want. So now we can slide our crossbar onto our upright. So now we're going to take our Torx bolt with a lock washer and a flat washer. We're going to put that through the top and get our flange nut and thread that on to the other side. Now I'm just going to get these hand tight for now. We're going to leave everything loose until we get it on the truck, and then we'll go back and fully tighten everything down once we make our adjustments. So we have 2 going through the top and 1 going through each side. And now I'm just going to do that same thing on the other side of this. Now once you have one of these assembled, you can do the same thing for the other one. So now with our 2 main hoops assembled, we can install our sidebars. Next we can get that same hardware combo of the Torx bolt, lock washer, flat washer, and nut, and install it into the 4 slots. Once again, we're going to leave everything hand tight until the very end. Now do that same thing on the other 3 corners. Now we can assemble our 3rd and final crossbar. We have these end plates with bolt holes that's going to let us mount this to our side plates. So we'll slide these in and then use the same hardware we've been using, the Torx bolt, lock washer, flat washer, and nut to tighten it down. So now this is the orientation that we want this end cap to be in. So we'll slide that into place. And then I'm going to flip this over to make it a little bit easier. So we'll take our bolt with lock washer and flat washer, slide that through the top, and then we'll get the nut underneath, thread the bolt into it. And you can do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can take our center crossbar. We're gonna lay it down into the center slot. And then we can get another set of Torx bolt, lock washer, flat washer, and nut, 2 on each side to tighten this down. So now we're gonna take our hardware and we're gonna slide it through this slot, and then it's gonna go through our end plate and we're gonna get the nut up in here. Might be a little bit hard to see. And then do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can install our side plates. We have these 2 holes that are going to line up to the 2 holes here and also in the back. This is going to go on the inside here. Same hardware, Torx bolt, lock washer, flat washer, with a nut on the other side. And we'll work our way back, doing that exact same thing. And then you can do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can install our center mounts. So the orientation is going to go like this. We're going to slide this right behind the piece that we just installed. And once again, we're getting our Torx bolts with the lock washer and flat washer through the front and our flange nut on the back. And then you can do that same thing on the other side. So now that we've got this fully assembled, I've grabbed myself a buddy to help me lift this up and onto the sides of our bed. Next, we can mount our rack to the side of our bed. Now we have these threaded clips to do that. We have a hook that's gonna clip onto the inside. There's a little lip under our little cover. So we're gonna hook that on. We're gonna use the longer edge. And then we're using our hex bolt with a lock washer and a flat washer. And I'm doing 2 of these on each of these mounts. So once I have one on and hooked in, I'm gonna take a 13mm socket and tighten it down. And I'm gonna put a second one on here. I'm gonna evenly space it out. Now we can just work our way back. On our center mount here, we only have 2 slots, so pretty easy to figure out where it's gonna go. Now on our frontmost one, we don't really have enough space to get our bracket behind these 2, so I'm just gonna put them right next to each other right here. And you can repeat that same process on the other side. So now we can go back and tighten down all of our hardware. For all of this, I'm going to be using a T40 Torx socket with a 13mm wrench. And then you can repeat that whole process on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Barricade HD Overland Rack for your 2019 and newer Silverado 1500 with 5.8 foot short and 6.5 foot standard box. Thank you for watching, and for all things Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.